what's up, what's up, what's up? All right, the title of today's discussion is how to bend time and manifest instantly. And it is inspired from a conversation that I was having yesterday, right? So, how to bend time and manifest quickly. The only blocks that we have on this journey are the blocks that we create. And anything that you perceive as a block is something that you create, right? I'll often talk to people and they'll say, I've been doing this for X amount of time and nothing's changed. Well, it's because in this moment right now, you are declaring that nothing has changed. How are you judging your reality? Are you judging reality as reality, knowing that you are source, knowing that the image of the quote unquote 3D is projected from within you? Or are you looking at the external world as some separate thing, something that you have to ignore to get what you want, something that you just have to survive to get what you want? Are you seeing it as something outside of you, or do you actually see it as just purely a reflection of you, right? So this is what we're going to talk about. When you are perceiving reality as something out there, something that you just have to survive to get what you want, of course, things are going to take time. That's what you've been doing your whole life, right? This is a journey not about just getting more information and doing the same shit. This is a journey of self-actualization, of knowing yourself as the source. And when you know yourself as source, you stop judging your quote unquote manifestations by what you see out there, and you actually judge it by who you are. You decide when it's instant because you make the choice that it is. All right? So let's get into this. Let's get into it. All right? So the eternal present. Time is the great illusion. The ego whispers someday, and in that whisper hides what? Delay, doubt, and distance. But spirit knows no calendar, no clock, no waiting time, right? The source within you does not understand or comprehend your time. Time is not something that you are walking through. Time is something that's unfolding from within you. You are not inside of time. You're not a victim of time. Time is within you. And the more that you create this distance and this separation between you and the reality that you desire, the more you're going to have to walk through time. This is just what it is. You are so powerful that if you sit down and you moan and complain and whine about how things take so long, guess what? You're just affirming who you are. And because you are affirming who you are, reality says yes and gives you that. All right? Eternity is not a destination. It is compressed into this very breath, right? 2 Corinthians 6:2. Write this down. If you have trouble with time, write this down and go back to this verse. 2 Corinthians 6:2. Behold, now is the accepted time. Now is the day of salvation. Now. It didn't say today. It says now. Now is the accepted time. When is it done? Right now. When I decide it's done right now. Okay? Eternity does not sit in the distance. What you desire doesn't sit in the distance. The version of you that has it does not sit in the distance. It beats in the rhythm of this breath. It is in this moment, because this is the only moment that exists. To wait for tomorrow is to postpone God. We'll often say things like that to try to cope, right? Maybe God is testing me. Maybe there's something better and it's just being denied for something better. No, that's just you. That's just you. God is the one who gave you the desire, right? That spirit that flows within you is the spirit that gave you the desire. All right, to push back the throne that has already been set within you. That is what waiting for tomorrow does. It pushes back the throne that you have already been ordained to sit in. Paul's words remind us that salvation is not a future reward, but a present unveiling. The moment you dare to believe, the moment you dare to assume, the kingdom opens. Every someday you cling to is a chain around the ankles of your divinity. But the moment you declare now, you collapse time and creation bends to your conviction. It's always about now. Okay? It is always about right now. Who are you being right now? Are you being the person right now that is waiting for things to happen in the future? That says, when I see the signs, then I believe. When I feel better, then I'll know. Or are you the person that decides right now that you are already everything that you desire to be? Okay? Here we go. So to live as though it is already done is to step into the only door that ever existed right now. God's name is I am, right? Not I will be. When you rise into that consciousness, nothing in the 3D can delay you because the world is only a mirror. What you assume in this holy instant becomes the seed of reality. Why? Because you are the seed of reality. So whatever you assume yourself to be, your assumption is the seed. And it's planted within the being of you because the moment you make an assumption, you become that very thing right now. Right now. Right now. Okay? And our reality has to change to meet you right now. It's always instant. You are always making a declaration of I am or I am not. Oh, I think I need to do something more. You're saying I am not. The affirmations just aren't working. I am not. I just don't get it. I am not. It's always a declaration of I am or I am not. The moment that you relax into this present moment, knowing that right now you are everything you desire to be, this is when reality can actually meet you. All right? Salvation is not approaching. Your manifestation is not approaching. It is present. Fulfillment is not waiting. It is alive in you here and now, right? We are a people, a species, right? Humanity, the gods and goddesses that we are, right? We are a species that has forgotten. And you have two voices that are constantly trying to tell you who you are. You have the external reality that's constantly whispering to you, constantly showing you things, constantly trying to convince you of who you are. And then you have that internal voice of your desires that's trying to convince you who you are. Which one do you believe? Do you look at reality as an echo of the past, as proof of who you used to be? Do you see everything as a bridge to get you to what you want because you already know who you are? Or do you use reality to prove to you who you are? Because if you use reality to try to prove to yourself who you are, reality cannot change. If you are mirroring reality, reality can't change because reality is mirroring you. So you'll constantly be in that hamster wheel, right? You're looking at reality, judging yourself based on it. And when you make that assumption, when you plant that seed into the soil of your being, reality then reflects it back at you. So you're constantly just playing peekaboo with one another. You're just playing this game that never stops. The only time it stops is when you check out. When you check out, when you stop basing your worth on anything outside of you and you base your worth on the truth of who you are. I am whatever I decide to be right now. I am everything that I desire to be. I am the eternal I am. Right? I am the proof of God's love. I am the resting place of God. I am the authority of God. When you start to understand your power, reality can actually reflect back who you are. But as long as you are looking out there for proof, things cannot change, right? So this is when we talk about manifesting instant, it is instant, all right? And it relies on these two primary things, all right? I want to talk about two primary things. Number one, do you see the quote unquote 3D as something outside of you? It's something you just have to survive. It's something you're just trying to endure. It's the enemy. It's hard to make it through it. Or do you understand that it's just you? There is no separation. The more that you can remove that boundary between you and reality, the more that you simply perceive reality as you, the quicker things turn out. Now, let's go to the second half. What are you basing your manifestation on? Are you basing it on the external reality when it changes? Or are you basing it on who you are being? If you are basing it on something out there, if you're playing peekaboo, pretending to assume some shit, pretending you believe, but still needing reality to show you something, well, who are you being? You are always making a declaration of who you are being. All right? If you are looking for something out there to change, waiting for something out there to change, Are you being the person who has it? Remember, you can only have what you already have. And if you are looking out there waiting for something to change, are you being the person that has it? No, you're not. This does not mean that you have to remove your desire. Your desire is the proof that Source wants to experience it through the identity of you. But to wait for reality to change is just to wait. And to wait is to not have. Can you go from waiting to divinely expecting, knowing that you are the proof that everything is unfolding? And from this place of expectation, can you then begin to look at everything that happens in reality as divine proof that everything is working out? Once you get there, that is the sweet spot. That is when everything becomes instant. This is when the moment you think of them, they call. This is when you wake up with opportunities for money. This is when all of a sudden the people around you, I was sick yesterday, but now all of a sudden I'm feeling better. This is it, right? This is what Jesus was trying to teach us, right? If you believe he was a true historical figure or not, right? The message was never to worship, right? The message was a reminder of your divinity. You too can heal the people in your reality. Why were those stories put in there? You too can see your mother healthy and she can be healthy instantly. You too can see yourself without physical ailments and you can be healed instantly. What do you think the placebo effect is? We've had several discussions where we talk about the placebo effect. People with cancer, people that need surgeries, and they just get a sugar pill. They get a placebo, a fake pill, and all of a sudden the tumor goes away, the cancer goes away, the pain heals. What is this? Well, it's because instead of them waiting for somebody to come from the sky and save them, they made the choice to believe that they would be healed right now. This is your power. This is what all of these ancient texts are trying to tell us. Is that you are God. There's no situation in your life that is a death sentence. It's never the end until you say so. It's always exactly what you say it is. Reality is never just what it is, it's always what you are. All right? So every assumption of later is unbelief in disguise, but faith collapses time by declaring, I am now. I am right now. All right? So reflection question for this section. Where in your life are you postponing joy, fulfillment, or peace by saying one day? What would happen if you claimed it as already yours in this breath? Guys, joy is a choice. Joy is a choice. Some of you are waiting for SPs to show up in your life so you can finally be happy again, so you can finally actually have a life again. Some of you waiting for that money to show up so you can actually be happy again. Joy is not, you believe that thing out there is going to make you feel some kind of way. Sure, it might. It will. It will, actually. But you still can make a decision right now to take a deep breath, to relax in this present moment and say, it's all perfect right now. Everything is perfect right now. I have no problems right now. There's going to be times where you're not going to be with that specific person anyway. There's going to be times where you're not spending that money anyway. Right now is absolutely perfect. Right now you have everything that you need. You have the ability to choose. You have God flowing through you. You have your perception. You can breathe. Your heart is beating. Right now, everything is perfect. There are no problems right now. Joy is a choice. To be grateful for life is a choice, right? When you hear these spiritual teachers and they're like, oh, gratitude is so powerful and be grateful for what you want. I used to sit around and be like, man, look, I'm broke. How the fuck am I going to be grateful for money when I don't have bills, when I have bills to pay? When the eviction letters come in, how the hell am I going to be grateful for that shit, right? But there was a deeper message in all these things. I can be grateful right now simply for being, for existing, for being here. Right now in this moment, everything is perfect. I can choose joy. Not the forced joy of pretending I have something, but simply the joy of knowing that I'm divinely supported. The joy of knowing I've already chosen to have what I want. So it must be. I can choose that right now. That is my choice. I am a sovereign being. I can choose my emotions. No one outside. No one outside has that power. Even if somebody walks up and pisses you off, slaps you, you still go within yourself and make a choice on how you feel about it, how you respond to it. It's you. You have the choice. You can make the choice. All right? Next part. All right? The mirror and the face. So scripture teaches this. Proverbs 27:19. As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. Right? As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. The outer world is nothing more than the reflection of yesterday's state of being. To judge your manifestation by appearances is to live in the rearview mirror, condemning yourself to recycled echoes. Let me say that one more time. To judge your manifestation by appearances, by what you see out there, is to live in the rearview mirror. Like I always say, right? It's identity first, circumstance second. If you are basing your identity on the circumstance can't change because what? You're identifying with it. So you're declaring yourself to be it. Therefore, it must continue to mirror itself back to you. But when you stay true and faithful to your identity, now the circumstance must change to match it. Okay? So to judge your manifestation by appearances is to live in the rearview mirror. Because reality is the past. Condemning yourself to recycled echoes. The 3D is not prophecy. It is simply memory. The face is within you, and the mirror must obey. Change the state, and the reflection must yield. All right? So here's a quote by Neville Goddard, okay? Neville Goddard quote. The outer world is a delayed photograph of your inner conversations. Your outer world is your report card, right? You can look outside, you can look at your bank account and see your perspective on money. You can look at your SP situation and see your perspective on relationships. You can look at your relationship with your parents, with your family, with your friends, with whatever, and you can see your beliefs. You can see your state of being. And for me, this was a very triggering thing to come to the realization of, because it required a level of accountability to look at everything and say, okay, yeah, you're right. It's my fault. You're absolutely right. It is my fault. Now let me go and change some things about me. When you start taking the verse literally, I don't take many verses literally, but one verse I take very literally is, life and death are in the power of the tongue, and those that love it will eat its fruit. If life and death is in the power of the tongue, my inner conversation, how I see myself, then why am I not falling in love, loving the process of saying, what got me to this point? What is my inner speech? What inner speech have I been using to match this external circumstance? Let me change that. How have I looked at myself? Let me change that. Look at the relationships I have with women. What have I been expecting out of those? Let me change that. Let me choose differently. And when you start falling in love with that process, right? Not simply just throwing shit at the wall, hoping it sticks, but becoming a student of your life, understanding the stories that you've been telling, your life dramatically begins to change. Some of you are so focused, right? And I've been there. So focused on waiting for that thing out there to change so you can finally feel fulfilled and happy and peace, that you're not enjoying the present moment anymore. Life is blowing by you. Opportunities for closer connections with friends, with family, just passing you by. You couldn't even relax and see the business opportunity slapping you in your face because you are too busy trying to affirm for this person. No, I can't do anything today. I can't leave the crib. I got to sit here and I got to affirm or visualize. Making your life about this thing outside of you. When that thing outside of you doesn't even exist, it's just a fragment of you. It's a piece of you reflecting your self-concept. The more beautiful the reflection is, the better your concept of self. The shittier the reflection, the shittier your concept of self. It's that simple. It's not rocket science. The moment that you accept right now, you are source, you are the center, you are all that you desire to be. When you truly accept that right now, not when you get signs out there, not just because you feel good, but when you accept it above your emotions. I don't care how I feel. I don't care if my mind's raced. I don't care. I've already accepted the knowing. When you start to know, when you accept it as who you are, the same way that you accept your name, the same way if somebody walks up to me and says, "Hey, Jim, Joe," or those people that try to sell you stuff in the store come walking up to you. Today I was in Walmart. Somebody did that. Hey, bruh. I just kept walking. When you start to do that, when you start to treat your assumptions that same way, when you start to know yourself as prosperity, and when the external world starts to say broke at you, the same way that somebody tries to call you the wrong name, when you know yourself as what you desire to be with that conviction, reality must yield to you because reality is just you. It's not separate. It's not out there. It's just you. But the moment you keep responding to it and you get confused, oh, they called me broke, so I must be broke. No, you're not. That's yesterday's news. It's just trying to rearrange and match to you. But because you can't stay solid in your conviction, it's not changing. All right? So the outer world is a delayed photograph of your inner conversations. The life you see around you is not prophecy, but memory. It is the echo of what you once entertained in the secret chambers of thought. Every repeated inner dialogue, every whispered assumption, every unspoken belief develops in the dark room of consciousness until it hardens into the photograph of your 3D world. To look at the outer and call it truth is to mistake the picture for the photographer. You hear that, right? The outer can only reveal what the inner is already declared. Change the conversation within, and the photograph must shift. This is why judging your life by appearances is futility. The 3D is not who you are, but who you were. By the time you see it, it is already old news, already expired, already the past made visible. The real creative act is happening now. The real creative act is happening now. What you see out there does not matter. The truth is happening right now within you. In the words you speak to yourself when no one else hears. If you dare to feel those inner halls with conviction, with gratitude, with the knowing that you are source, your outer photograph must display the image you carry within. Reality has no choice but to obey the voice that speaks in secret. Okay? So a reflection question on this. When you look at your current 3D, do you see the truth or do you see an echo of who you used to be? There's no middle answer. There's no middle answer to this. When you look at your reality, do you see the truth? Okay? Think about this. Do you see the truth? How, like when you see the things you don't want, are you perceiving it as truth? Ah, this shit again. Dang, this shit is always happening. Or do you simply know this is just the past fading away? This is proof that it's fading away. Do you see everything as proof that you're already who you say you are? Or do you see everything as proof that nothing is changing? There is no middle ground. There is no middle ground. All right? Next part, the kingdom within. All right. So Jesus, who represents your I am awareness, stated, Luke 17:21, right? The kingdom of God is within you. Not tomorrow, okay? Not someday after striving, but here now within you. To look outside for proof is to abandon the throne within, okay? Manifestation, okay? Because here it is, right? This is another key point because we often start talking about manifestation and we think we have to convince somebody out there. We got to convince the 3D, okay? Manifestation is not about convincing the 3D, right? It is about enthroning yourself in the unseen kingdom until the outer world has no choice but to kneel. It's about you. It's about you constantly, right? If you want to think of frequency, like I constantly say, how often do you continue to go to that same story? How enthroned are you in that new position you want in your life? Right? How is your conviction in it? How is your knowing in it? Have you accepted it? Not just when you feel good, not just when you're motivated, not just when you see a new YouTube video, right? But are you convinced of it no matter what? Okay, beautiful, beautiful, right? So a quote by Meister Eckhart, right? God is at home. It is we who have gone out for a walk. I always love this quote. I always love that quote, all right? So reflection question. Do you live as one seated on the throne of inner authority? Okay? Or are you still wandering the marketplace of appearances, begging for confirmation? Are you sitting in the throne of you? Are you in the kingdom, which is you, knowing that you are already everything? Remembering that you're not manifesting anything out there. You are remembering who you are so all things can be added to you, right? Seek ye first the kingdom. Seek first the knowing that you are God. You are the dwelling place of God. And if you are the dwelling place of God, you are already all that there is. You don't have to create anything out there. It's already done. You simply need to choose the perspective you want to see life through. You need to choose who you are being so reality can reflect who you're being. That's it. All right. So do you live as one seated on the throne of inner authority? Do you walk through life like your word is law? Or, right, no middle ground. Or are you still wandering the marketplace of appearances, right? You're not sitting in that throne, calling things forth, right? You're still wandering around the marketplace of appearances, begging reality for a confirmation. Please prove to me that I am who I say I am. When reality is waiting for you to just assume and know that you are everything that you say you are. All right? Next part, the illusion of delay. Delay is never in God. Delay is never in God. It is in consciousness. Okay? God is not stopping you from anything. God is the one who granted you the desire, who blessed you with the desire. Okay? When you say I will be, you postpone your own coronation. God's name is I am, not I will be. God's name is I am. All right, that's just your nature. Your nature is I am, not I will be. There's only now. To claim lack, waiting, or process is to bow to time instead of eternity. It is to make time your God instead of I am the Lord your God, and you shall have no false idols besides me. Do you hear what I'm saying? I know you hear what I'm saying. I trust that this is turning on a light bulb within you, okay? To claim lack, to claim that you're waiting for things to change, to go through process, to try to strive to get it, is to bow to time. It is to make time your God instead of eternity, instead of the infinite, instead of the source that you are, okay? So John 8:58, before Abraham was, I am. The moment you dare to assume creation bends itself to your decree. Delay dissolves the instant you stop measuring manifestation by the outer and rest in the truth of the inner. This is when you start collapsing time. This is when you start collapsing time, y'all. This is when you start making your manifestations instant. This is when people just start hitting you up the moment that you think about it. You don't even have to ask about it. You walk around knowing you are the fulfillment. You walk around knowing you are source. Reality flows from you. You don't even sit and affirm or visualize for your desires because you don't need to do that shit. You are source. Why do I need to affirm when I am God? The desire is the fulfillment. I am the fulfillment. And as I walk through life, boom, guess what? These desires just flow to me, through me, because I know who I am. Right? Because I know who I am. Yeah, absolutely. And they're all on YouTube. They're all on YouTube. We're streaming to YouTube right now, so it's all automatically uploaded there. Okay? Cool. All right, so delay dissolves the instant you stop measuring manifestation by the outer and rest in the truth of the inner. So reflection question for this section. What desire have you placed in the category of future? What shifts when you rename it, it is already mine and I am now? Well, everything shifts. What desires are you placing in the future, whether it's health, whether it's wealth? C. What's up, Yessie? C, mommy. All right? What desire have you placed in the category of the future? And what shifts when you rename it? When you claim that it is already yours right now, right? I am right now. All right? So the rest of fulfillment. Next part, the rest of fulfillment. The highest proof of faith is rest. Be still and know. Be still and know. Profound 4 words. Be still and know. Then you turn it up a notch and say that I am God, right? Then you turn that shit all the way up. But the highest proof of faith is rest. The Sabbath is not a day of the week. It is a state of consciousness. To rest. What is to rest? What is to rest, right? To rest is to stop laboring, to stop watching, to stop waiting, to stop doubting, to stop striving, and simply live as though it is already done, right? This is the true Sabbath. This is the true Sabbath, okay? The work was already done. It's already done. All right. So Genesis 1:31, and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And he rested. Beautiful. When you rest in the fulfilled state, the 3D mirror must eventually reflect your Sabbath peace. So here's another Neville quote, all right? Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You know I'm saying this one for a purpose. You already know where I'm going with this one. All right, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and live in the end. That assumption, though denied by the senses, if persisted in, will harden into fact. And we already know what the next part is, right? Because we hear feeling and we think we have to walk around like psychopaths controlling our emotions all day. Do that if you want to end up in a straitjacket. Go ahead, right? But the feeling of the wish fulfilled, what is this, right? Even Noah said, when I speak of feelings, I do not speak of emotion, but the acceptance of the fact that it is already yours, that you are already the person you want to be. The exact same thing that we've been talking about this whole discussion. When you stop basing who you are on what you see out there, and when you rest in the knowing that you are already everything you desire to be, that is divine remembrance. That is when everything clicks. It's not about striving to feel better. If I have to strive to feel better to make myself believe that I am something, then I'm saying I am not. If I have to feel worthy, what I'm saying is I am not worthy. You are worthy no matter how you feel. You're worthy if you feel worthy. You're worthy if you don't feel worthy. You are loved if you feel worthy or feel loved. You are loved if you don't. Love is just who you are. Worthiness is who you are. Right? You are worthy in love and prosperity because your heart beats. That is the proof. The source flows through you. If your heart is beating right now, check it. Is your heart beating right now? Then you are absolutely worthy, absolutely loved, and you are God. And from that knowing, you allow all these other things to be added to you. Right? You are so in alignment. You are so God that right now you could make up a false assumption about being out of alignment, and reality would say yes. Because even being out of alignment is a myth. Being out of alignment is an absolute myth. You weren't supposed to know about alignment and vibration and frequency. You were simply supposed to be bored, and somebody was supposed to tell you, all right, expect that everything is going to work out for you and know that you are God. That was it. That's it right there. That is all you were supposed to know. But we walk around and we hear a vibration and frequency and alignment, and then we start making up stories. We say, oh shit, I don't feel good. I must not be in alignment. What does that mean? Somebody define alignment. You ask 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different examples. Everybody's just making up shit in their head. Because somebody one day told you you have to be on a certain vibration. How do you measure it? How do you measure your vibration? You can't. How do you measure your alignment? You can't. So everybody's just walking around like psychopaths, just trying to guess some magic alignment and frequency in their mind. Do you understand how insane that is? I want you to really think about that. I did that shit for years. Well, maybe about a year. I did that shit for a long time, just sitting around like, oh, I ain't worthy. I got to feel good. My vibration, my alignment. Doing everything to increase my alignment. Everything. Everything. Not even knowing. It wasn't until I really thought about this. What the hell am I chasing? What is alignment? What is it? I'm simply in alignment because I say so. I'm simply not in alignment because this was the deeper truth. Hold up. I'm only not in alignment because I am telling that story. Because I'm walking around saying it. It doesn't even exist. It's just imagination. There's only my assumptions. I can sit right here and I can make the assumption that I'm in alignment. I can make the assumption that I'm not. I make all of this up. The same way that you walk into a room and you say, oh, everybody can't stop looking at me because I'm that guy. Or everybody's just talking shit about me because it's all made up. It's working out perfectly. It's not working out. It's all made up. One, it's working out perfectly is me being faithful to who I am. It's not working out is me being faithful to my fear, faithful to my doubts. This is why even scripture will tell you, I am the Lord your God, you shall have no false idols. Because we start making false idols out of everything. Everything. Our fear becomes an idol. Time becomes an idol. I don't see it out there. I must not be it yet. Oh, this person made me sad. I must not be in alignment. I'm not doing it right. We start worshiping everything except for us. You are the truth. What you say is the truth. That's it. What you explain, what you say it is what it is. That is it. You're making law. You're simply making law as you walk through life. And as you're making that law, now you have to live in that law. Okay? Now you have to live in that law. So reflection. How would you act, speak, and move if you truly believed it was already finished? This is the $1 million question right here. This cuts through all the nonsense. How would you act, speak, and move if you truly believed it was already finished? What is stopping you from doing that? What is stopping you from knowing, right? Knowing is a choice. The same way that you know your name, if somebody yells the wrong name to you, it's not going to confuse you and think, oh shit, is my name that? Maybe they're right and I'm wrong. This is the same way that you have to be with your desires. Prosperity. If lack is yelling your name, brokenness is yelling your name. Just because it's yelling your name, do you identify with it or do you stay in the truth of who you are? All right. What small step can you take today to rest in the fulfillment of your desire? Okay. What small step can you take today to rest in the fulfillment of your desire? All right. So in conclusion, all right. So we'll do the conclusion. I got a love letter for y'all, right? We got some affirmations for y'all, and then we'll do questions, right? Then we'll do questions. All right, so in conclusion, beloved, right? Do not wait for signs. The signs will follow you, right? Signs follow, they don't proceed. Signs follow, they don't proceed, all right? Do not search the 3D mirror for confirmation, for it only reflects who you were, never who you are. The only door into eternity is now. And the only key is I am. It's the only key is I am. Who do you say you are, right? It doesn't matter what is going on. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter what people are doing. It doesn't matter what things look like. Who do you say you are? In the middle of the circumstance, who do you say you are? Walk through boldly. Assume the end, rest in the state, and let the outer world catch up to the truth you already embody. Time is not your master, you are. The mirror has no power but to reflect, all right? And then Hebrews 11:1. Hebrews 11:1. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Beautiful, right? And last but not least, right? Delay is not denial unless you call it so. Delay is not denial unless you call it so. Nothing is delay. Nothing is denial. Nothing is rejection. It's all an illusion unless you say it so. This is how powerful you are. Unless you say so, it's meaningless. Okay? So here's a letter to you. Here's a letter to you. That's a letter I wrote to myself. I'm going to read it to you. Okay? Damn, I have some water here. I'll get some later. All right. Do not be deceived by the photographs of your present life. What you see around you is not prophecy, it is memory. The outer world is nothing more than the echo of the words you once whispered to yourself in secret. Every fleeting thought, every repeated doubt, every whispered declaration has become the canvas of the 3D. But know this, it is not who you are, it is who you were. The world is always behind you, following the trail of your inner speech. So do not judge yourself by appearances. Do not let a fading picture tell you who you can be. The mirror can only repeat yesterday's vision, but the throne of creation is still in your heart, and your inner conversation is its scepter. What you choose to speak within yourself today will be the photograph of tomorrow. Choose carefully, choose boldly, and choose as God. If you dare to speak with love, with certainty, with the authority of I am, the world must bow and develop the image of your conviction. Remember, the voice that shapes your destiny is not the world shouting at you. It is the whisper you echo within. Guard it, bless it, and speak as though the end is already done. For in truth, the end has already been spoken in eternity, and your task is only to align with its echo. When the outer world tries to distract you, smile gently and say, this is only the photograph of who I once was. The new picture is already forming. Beautiful, right? With eternal love and faith, I am that I am, right? No matter what. I am that I am, no matter what. All right, so we got 5 affirmations. Remember, these affirmations, you're not trying to be them. You already are them. This is divine remembrance of who you've always been. Okay, this is who you've always been. Perfect. Number 1, the world I see is yesterday's echo. Today I speak the future into being. The world I see is yesterday's echo. Right? Reality is responding to who I am right now. It's instant. The change is instant because the change within me is instant. Okay, next. My inner voice is the brush, and reality is the canvas that must obey. My inner voice is the brush, and reality is the canvas that must obey. Beautiful, beautiful. Next. I am not defined by appearances. I am defined by the I am within me. Right? Do not get weary, right, of doing right, for in due time you will reap the harvest. Right? I am not defined by appearances. I define appearances. Okay, you are the definer. You are the source. Right? I am defined by the I am within me. Okay? Next up. Every word I whisper in secret becomes the world that greets me in daylight. Every word I whisper in secret becomes the world that greets me in daylight. Now, I want to make a distinction because every word I whisper in secret, this doesn't mean thought. Let me be very, very clear. What is the word? What is the word? The word is who you are. The word is your declaration of I am. You're not every thought. You're not every emotion. You're not every thought. You are who you say you are. You can have thoughts without identifying with them. Same as you can talk about a movie and it does not show up in your life, right? You don't identify with that movie. You can do the same thing. You can say this thought is a thought of an old version of me. I choose not to identify with it anymore. Doesn't matter what my ego starts to think. I know who I am. So when I say every word I whisper in secret becomes the world that greets me in daylight, I'm not talking about every single thought. I'm talking about the word. Who do you say you are? Who do you say you are? We get so hyper fixated on every single word, right? I made a video about this and we talked about this the other day, right? How there's a rumor going around. It was like, the subconscious doesn't know the difference between saying no or the negative and positive. So we act as if we're speaking to this unintelligent machine within us, when the same source that you are praying to is the same source that gave you the desire. The same source you're praying to is you. You're praying to the awareness that is you observing yourself. But we make all these grammatical rules. The only reason that you're scared of your own inner speech is because you won't put your foot down on what you identify yourself to be. The only reason you're trying to sit around and chase 60,000 thoughts a day, do you hear that? 60,000. Is because you won't just sit down and accept who you are. When I say I am that I am no matter what, right? No matter what means no matter what. I am the prosperity I seek no matter what the hell I feel. No matter what reality shows me. Even if my mind starts wandering, it doesn't matter. Let the mind will always start wandering. When's the last time you just sat down for a couple hours in a room in the dark? No phone, no TV, no computer, no book, no conversation. You don't think your mind is going to wander? That's what it does. But you are not your thoughts. You are the one observing them. You get to choose. I am this thought or I am not. You are the power. You can sit here right now and say everything is working out for me no matter what. But oftentimes we'll say no matter what, and we act like that's just, it just goes in one ear and out the other. No matter what, except for when my thoughts are racing. And I know I'm not my thoughts and my emotions, but well, which one is it? Are you who you say you are no matter what? And can you bring yourself back to that truth over and over and over and over again? Or is your conviction so fragile that every single thought just pulls you away? Every emotion pulls you away. Well, who's making that choice? Who is choosing that? It's you, right? No one else. No one else. This is why even the question of how to know more, how to have more faith makes no sense. What is faith? What is belief? Except for what you're assuming all the time. What you're assuming about yourself is faith or belief. You sitting around and saying, I am strong, is faith, is belief. It is a knowing that you are strong. You sitting around and saying, I just don't know if I'm strong because these thoughts are saying I'm not. That's sitting around and saying, I am not strong. You know exactly what you're saying. You know exactly how you're identifying. Yet we act like we can just hope that reality will give us the opposite of who we're being. You know who you're being. This isn't a mystery. You're in your mind 24/7. You know if you've been persisting. You know who you've been identifying as. You know this. You're the only person in your mind 24/7. You know what you've been doing. The question, this is why this is such a path of self-actualization. To me, it's the highest path of self-actualization, to know myself as source. Because even the world, when we talk about when we talk about taking ownership of our life from reality out there, it'll say, well, control what you can control and leave the rest, right? But you have to even go beyond this when it comes to this path, you have to look at your reality as source. You have to make the decision as source of who you are going to be. And the more that you wake up on this path, the more that you look out there and there's nothing out of your control. Now, the unfolding, of course, will happen however it happens, right? You can't control the unfolding, but the end, I have the absolute control on how I name everything. I am the one who chooses if this is working out or not. How do I handle unfavorable circumstances? Who is the one who is saying they're unfavorable? Who is the one that's saying they're not working out for you? I had a client recently. She had an SP. You don't know what SP is, a specific person, right? And this person, she had been trying to choose a different version of them for a while, right? We've had 2 conversations, okay? Second conversation, of course, they showed back up. But the interesting thing is that in the first conversation, she was telling a story. And this dude was talking to other women, right? And he wasn't that serious about certain things in his life. He wasn't, ready to commit, ready to be a husband, all these things. Now, all of a sudden, all of those things changed because she assumed they did. Now, even the way that they changed was interesting because it was as if everything that she was seeing him doing was just leading him to the decision. It was still the unfolding, even when it looked opposite. Even when it looked like he was talking to somebody else. What did he tell her? Man, I should have never talked to that person. Like every time I was with them, I could only think about you. So many situations have been happening in my life with her. She wasn't showing up for me the right way. And it's just, I really just want to sit down and get married now. This is not magic. It's from you. It is your assumptions. But when you're looking out there and saying, oh, it just looks so shitty, it's not working out for me. Well, of course it's not. Because you say it's not. But when you begin to know that you are everything that you desire, when you stop letting the external world beat you around and slap you around, and when you start choosing what everything means, when you start looking at everything as a sign, this is what she did. She started looking at everything as a sign. Oh, he's with somebody else. It's a sign that he's coming back because he can't stand to be with anybody else. Every single thing in his life is just proof that he's ready to get married. I don't care what it looks like. She chose. Every time reality gave her a situation, she chose over and over and over and over and over again. Because that is your only power. What else are you doing? You only have the power to choose. And this power shapes everything. Every moment you are choosing. So it's like that, right? Like you have this power. And so many times it's like, oh, I've been doing this for 2 days, and we look out and reality doesn't look perfect. By whose judgment? Even scripture will tell you, right? Judge not by appearance, but judge by righteous judgment. We look out, and just because something doesn't look cute to you, just because it doesn't look pretty and it's not wrapped up in a rainbow and a bow tie, right? You look at it and say, oh, it's just not working out. Well, that's what it is now. But it's always working out beautifully for you because it's flowing through you. The moment you decide that it's working for you, it is. This is the revelation she had. Wow, the moment I changed my story, it was all working out for me. Not only in that moment, but in the past too, because the past doesn't exist. It's just thoughts. When I started to assume that everything was working out, that's what it had to do. And if you had taken a different perspective, that's what it would have had to do. Reality is just you. It's only not working out if you say it's not. This is the magic. When you say, oh, I just can't deal with the 3D, and it's just, I'm trying to ignore it, and it's so who are you being? Who are you being? Are you being God? Or are you being, I was going to say a word I shouldn't have said, right? Are you being God, or are you treating reality as your God? Are you making a false idol out of reality? Oh, well, it's been 6 months, 9 months. No, it hasn't. It's only right now. But you're deciding, you are absolutely deciding right now that nothing's changing for you. This is what you're saying. Oh, I've been affirming, but nothing's changing. Do you hear what you're saying? Well, of course nothing's changing because you're saying that. Oh, I've been doing everything right, but it's been 6 months and nothing's changed. Well, duh. What else can it do? That's who you're being. You're always being somebody. You're always choosing. Always. When we really start, this is why I constantly say this, right? Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Those that love it will eat its fruit. Those that love it. When you start loving, paying attention to how you think, how you speak, when you take your focus off of that funky ass, musty ass SP out there, making your life about them. When are they going to show up? When are they going to come back? When is the money going to come? When you stop focusing out there so damn much and you start actually paying attention to the story that you're telling about yourself, you start, when you pull your awareness back and you start saying, damn, I thought that I've just been walking around waiting for them to come back. I've just been walking around looking for signs out there, acting like somebody that doesn't have shit. Of course they can't come back. But when you put your consciousness back on you and you begin to treat this verse very literally, life and death are in the power of the tongue and those that love it, when you start to make your primary focus to knowing that you are source, your internal dialogue, who you decide that you are, how you choose to see every single situation, when you start to walk around centered, rooted in yourself, looking out there and saying, you all work for me now. I'm the boss now. You all work for me now. No longer am I going to walk around and take orders from a reality that doesn't even exist. Nothing out there even exists. It's not real. Your SP doesn't exist. They're not real. If they were real, you couldn't even manifest them. Because that would be imposing on their free will. So how can they be real if you can manifest them? They don't exist. They're a fragment of you, just reflecting your consciousness back at you. But the more that you make them real, and you just, oh my God, I need them to feel love and fulfilled. Well, of course you can't have them. You're making them your God. When you start to center your focus on you, knowing that you are source, and all these things are simply fragments of you. Now you get to choose how you see everybody. You choose how you want them to show up. Choose what it means that they're doing whatever. I don't care what they're doing. Choose what it means. That's right. Even that thing that you just thought about and said, what about this, Alex? I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It does not matter. Matter of fact, let's go further. All right? I don't care. Here we go. Let's trigger y'all, okay? I don't care if they're married. I don't care. What does it mean to you? Who are you being? I don't care. I don't care what your bank account looks like. I don't care when the bills are due. I don't care if the eviction notice is there. Who are you? What does it mean to you? It's always about you. There's nothing. There's nothing. There is nothing outside of your control. Except for what? The things that you declare and assume are outside of your control. It's all you. There is no hole that you can dig yourself into that the Christ within you cannot save you for. This is the story of the resurrection. There is no circumstance, no situation that you can dig yourself into that Christ cannot save you to, right? This is your Savior. This is your Savior. The knowing of who you are, right? No one will come to the Father except through me. Well, you have Christ within you. You have the I am awareness within you, the Christ consciousness within you. And so what does that mean? No one will come to the Father except through me. It doesn't mean pray out to Jesus. Jesus, please save me, right? It simply means accept. This is your I am awareness. Accept who you are. And when you know who you are, this is direct communication to God. When you know who you are, when you declare who you are, this is direct communication to God, right? And you can't get to the Father except through me. And what is the Father? The Father is all that there is. we have to remember, right? There's only one of everything. But scripture separates things, right? Even Jesus in those teachings will separate things to kind of make it more clear to us and separate I am from source and God from the Father and all and the Holy Spirit. There's just one, right? But we have to think about it from a human perspective. How do you get to the Father? By declaring who you are. Because reality, which is you, is simply reflecting you back at you. So it doesn't matter what you're thinking, it doesn't matter what you're feeling, it matters who do you say you are. This is why even Jesus, when he was talking to his disciples, right? When he said, who do you say I am, right? Who do they say I am? And they started naming all these things that the external world was telling them. Some say you're this. Some say you're, Elijah. Some say you're this person. You're a prophet, right? You have to cut them out. Okay, that's cool. See how you're judging based on what the external world is telling you. But who do you say I am? But who do you say I am? It doesn't matter what the external world is telling you. It doesn't matter that your mom's calling you broke. It doesn't matter if your bank account's calling you broke. Who do you say you are? This is why even in the garden, right? What did God say? What did Source say to Adam and Eve? Who told you were naked? Who told you were naked? Representing their fall into duality. Beginning to say things, right? Beginning to judge things as right, wrong, good, or bad. This is what we do as humans. We start to judge things. Why not judge it all right? This is what even scripture tells you, right? Judge not by appearance, but judge by righteous judgment. That is the trap to judge things as negative. That just keeps you in a negative reality. Cool. All right. So I love y'all. That was the discussion for today. Love y'all. Let's do questions, right? If you have questions, go and drop them.